My name is Casey Ress. I live in Smithtown, New York. The first time I used a metal detector, I was a young kid and my dad got a cheap machine probably from like Radio Shack. I really never knew where to go. I more or less found my dad's junk in the backyard. Kind of was always interesting to me. The hobby spiraled from there. First you gotta figure out what you're looking for. You know, if you're looking for gold rings and finding money, you know, you wanna get in the sand on the beach. And you could drive down the road and look at the houses. If it's a rock foundation, it's colonial, 1700s. It's brick, it's 1800s. The easiest thing to do would be like, oh, knock on Mrs. Jones's door. I see you have this beautiful house. You won't even know I was here. If I find a gold bar and you want it, it's yours. I found war artifacts from the War of 1812, Revolutionary War, that we were able to track an individual person. That's the kind of stuff that gets me excited. Not the actual artifact that I get to keep. The fact that I can put that artifact in a family member's hand. So the big question I always get is, how do you find these artifacts? I own a land clearing company, so I'm familiar with the ground, the trees, and sometimes I'm just driving down the road and I see something. I see a tree that's not native to Long Island. 9 out of 10 times, there's usually a foundation within feet of it. From looking at a tree in the woods, just found a 200-year-old foundation that nobody knows about. I've dug countless buttons from the War of 1812, Revolutionary War, Civil War, rare coins. We have some unbelievable stuff under the ground here on Long Island. It starts to tell a picture of who was up here, what we were trading, the ships that came in. It's really pretty unique. George Washington inaugural button, that's one of the items everybody metal detecting is after. You had to be at the inauguration in 1789 to get one. They're super rare, they don't come up all the time. You know, there's guys that metal detect their whole life, don't dig one up. I had found a colonial foundation. It was actually a job site that I was working on. I got permission from the owner. I had already dug probably 30 colonial coins on the site, buttons, buckles, all kinds of stuff. When I dug this button, it was face down with the shank sticking up. I had flipped it over. I could just barely see the ring on the outside. And the 13 states inaugurals has 13 rings. I started shaking and I started cleaning the mud off. And then I literally almost broke out crying. It was just like a dream come true for me. There's no bigger colonial history here on Long Island than find something like that. You know, I ended up digging another one after that. If you're after your goal and you're working hard, things will come together, and that's kind of what happened with that. I've been offered a lot of money for it. I would never sell it. It'll be in my family forever. My family's been extremely supportive. Some of them are into the hobby. If I go, they want to come. Well, most of the time I take them, and the kids are getting obsessed with it. You know, they want to be out there with me digging. I think we all forget how we all got here. I hope these artifacts and the stuff that I'm finding is preserving all this stuff for not only my kids, but your kids, our future kids. There's a lot of the stuff that's literally in your backyard under the ground. It's there for us, and it shows everybody that story, that early story of Long Island.